Greetings, parents, guardians, excuse me, and students. You might hear my voice. You can tell I'm not 100%. I wanted to make this video a little earlier, but you can ask your students. Last week, my voice was even worse. But I'm going to hang in there and make this video because I know it is very, very beneficial for parents and guardians to hear my expectations for this big exhibition project and hear it with the students present. My class, I always say this: you get what you put into it. The year's gonna finish pretty soon, and some kiddos who will have put in so much effort and energy are gonna really look back and reflect on this being probably one of their best years ever. And so the same thing goes with exhibition. The kids can put in just so much heart and soul and just make this a project that they really feel like they made a difference. And they'll really feel rewarded because this has the potential to be an amazing project. With all the social media pieces that we have in place here, we could really have a huge impact and really have the kids' voices heard all over the world, quite honestly. So what is exhibition? Let's start with what exhibition is. It's a huge project that any fifth grade student in any IB school in the world does in fifth grade, where students identify a problem, some sort of problem in the world, and hopefully it's a problem that has multiple perspectives. They research that problem, learn a lot about that problem, become experts in that problem, and then they take some sort of action to alleviate that problem. They have to do a few different components in the project. One of them is they have to do a lot of research. And students, as I mentioned, with the research, they have a excuse me, a learning log. Now, I had it here a second ago. Here's a learning log. Everyone has a learning log. This is Ethan's. And in the learning log, there are a lot of components that the kids have to complete, such as taking notes, lots of great notes. There's a lot of pieces, reflections, things like that. There's a bibliography. So one of the items that are graded on the exhibition project is that they kept up with their learning log. Took a lot of great notes, kept the sources there. A second and really important part of the exhibition project is the written piece. Students will write a research paper about the problem that they researched, the causes of that problem, the effects of that problem, the different perspectives, which organizations are doing things about this problem, and then what action did they take, and then some sort of a conclusion. Those are the paragraphs that we kind of suggest. In fact, attached, you'll see that we have a writing suggested guideline for what each paragraph might be. This doesn't have to be exact. Your child might have extra paragraphs because maybe their research shows them that they need an additional paragraph based on something that they've researched, and so it's going to be based on what they research. But here's a suggested format: some sort of introduction, the causes of their issue, the effects of the issue, the perspectives, meaning which organizations are taking action right now. What are they doing? What are other organizations doing? What are other people doing? Maybe legislators. And then taking action. What did you do? And some sort of a reflection. And I'm going to show some really great sample papers, and I'll attach those as well. That's another piece. And if a student typically does a piece of writing and they turn it in, if I give you an A+ and you put it on the refrigerator, the only people who are going to see it are those who are in the family going to get something in the refrigerator, in the kitchen. The requirement in my class, is that the writing has to be blogged. So every kid has a kid blog account. This is a student from last year's kid blog, and the student posted a blog about childhood hunger. And what's great about kid blog is that it has a greater reach. So the whole idea of exhibition is to raise awareness about an issue. On kid blog, when you finish the writing, as soon as I approve it, it goes live. And then I would ask you, once it is live, that you use, if you're comfortable with it, use social media, use Facebook, Twitter, any social media, and post the link to your child's writing, make it out there. I'll tweet it out, and then before you know it, kids have comments on their writing from all over the world, and they're their writing really has a greater voice and a greater magnitude. It's spread all over the world, and kids love it when they get comments from all over the world. We'll connect them with organizations that are passionate about their issue, and how amazing will it be when those organizations comment on our kids' writing. So that's the second piece. So research, writing. The third piece is the visual. Students will be making some sort of visual. A lot of times it's a board. Sorry, this is upside down. This is several years old at this point, so it might look a little beaten up. But the visual will guide the students' presentation. So they're not going to read from their visual. That would be pretty dull, but it'll be up there, and the kids will present to the community, and this visual will guide their presentation. So their presentation, their visual rather, should have some inquiry, what they wondered and what they found out, evidence of action, what they did to take action, and some sort of a reflection. These two boys, 2 years ago, studied teen steroid use. They created an RSA animate video, and an organization, the Taylor Hooton Foundation, used that video as the main page on their YouTube feed, and it's pretty fantastic. So that's the visual. And then the fourth piece is the presentation. Students are going to be graded on how well they present to the class, and then of course they're going to present to the community. And we're looking for a really engaging presentation, something that engages the audience. So we'll talk about that a little bit on the video, but certainly we'll talk about ways to make presentations more engaging with the class. So those are the four pieces. In the kids' exhibition folders, there is a rubric that goes through all four of those components and kind of what I'm looking for and how it's graded. Okay, let's go kind of week by week now and go over things a little bit more. We've already had one whole week of exhibition research time. We've had a full week. The kids get about 30 to 45 minutes every day with the laptops. They have laptop time. Now, as they're researching, keep in mind that I'm not able to get books for every child because not everyone's doing the exact same issue. So when we go to Media Center, it's good for them to look for books. That would be a great thing for you guys to do as well, is to maybe think about helping them maybe get to a library and find a book if they can on their issue. If not, then it doesn't work. That's okay. But it's nice to have not just online resources. Sometimes it's nice to have a book or a video or a podcast. So any way you can help your child find more resources, that would be great. Another big piece of research, and this is really important, and it's actually mandatory, is that every student needs to have a primary source. So Sarah, the student who I'm going to show you her writing in a little bit, a lot of the quotes that she had in her writing didn't necessarily come from a book or from a website, and some of them did, but a lot of them came from her interviews. So she did child hunger, so her mom helped her coordinate an interview with somebody at a food bank. And so the research from primary sources, a person who's an expert on your issue, is a mandatory piece. Sometimes it's hard to find a primary source, but really, if you go to any website, any organization that's a legitimate organization, they typically have a Contact Us tab. If you click on that, there's an email, there's a phone number. I can help them. We're going to role play making phone calls to organizations. So one of the requirements will be to have an interview with a primary source, and those interviews will count towards their research. So any way you can help with that would be great. Excuse me. If you know of any people who would be a good resource for your child to give them a primary source, you can certainly take care of that. You can help us with that. But like I said, I'm happy to help as well. Excuse me. So now we're going to look at, like I mentioned, the weeks. Next week, Monday starts April 11th. This is our second week of research. Now, for this week, what we're going to do is we're going to basically be finishing our research and organizing it into paragraphs. So we're going to be sorting all of our information and figuring out which would go under which paragraph. Friday the 15th, of course, is our IU field trip, so we won't have any class time on that Friday. The following week, the week of April 18th, that's the second week. We have 5 weeks till the project is due. April 18th, that week, kids are going to use their organized, all their notes and start writing their first draft. They're going to handwrite their first draft. Keep in mind that's also the first week of I-STEP multiple choice, so it'll be a very busy week. Then the third week until I-STEP is due, the week of the 25th, April 25th, students will edit and revise their handwritten draft and start typing it into KidBlog, the website where they'll be reaching a wider audience. Also at this point, they should start planning their visual, the board. And at this point, really the kids should start taking action. I actually didn't mention that, I don't think. The action. So there's a lot of different ways that kids can take action to make a difference about their issue. Maybe they'll make a video about their issue. For example, some of the students are doing the Beagle Freedom Project, which is an issue about scientists testing on dogs, laboratory animals being tested on, specifically dogs. And excuse me, one of the ways that that organization suggests that people take action, like I mentioned, any organization, if you go online and you click on the Taking Action tab, they have suggested action plans. One of them is to try to write to your local legislator and ask them to sponsor the Beagle Freedom Bill. It's a bill that says that that would make it a law that when a science lab is done testing on animals, instead of euthanizing those dogs, they at least try to get them adopted. It's a very fair law, and 3 states have sponsored that, have made that bill become into a law. Well, the Beagle Freedom Project suggests that to take action, that kids could write to their local legislator and ask them to sponsor that bill. And that's great, and that would be a great way to take action. You could write that letter, take a picture of it, staple it to, or glue it to the board. You've taken action. Kids could take it even a step further and make a commercial of them being very persuasive and making a video persuading their legislators why they should sponsor this bill. And then I could, of course, tweet it out and we could post it on social media and maybe it would go viral. You never know. There's a lot of ways you could take action. Last year I had a student who studied reduce, reuse, recycle, repurpose as well. And there's a great organization called PUP. I don't know what it stands for, I don't remember, but it's a local organization here in Indianapolis. And her mom got her half day, I approved it, and she drove Danae to this organization, and Danae volunteered at that organization. She spoke with people there who were primary sources for her, and she took action and did a lot of things for that organization. So you can take this as far as you want to take it. There's so many things you can do to take action. Just raising awareness is great. The blog is certainly taking action, but you want to take it as far, take it as far as you're willing to take it. But the kids need to take action in some sort of a way, and it needs to be documented. So, for example, documenting it, if you wrote that letter to a legislator, print it out, scan it, take a picture of it, make a couple copies, glue it to your board. Now that action has been documented. If Sarah, for her childhood hunger project, she volunteered at a soup kitchen. Have someone take a picture of the child at the soup kitchen, post it on your blog, glue it to the visual. Now you've documented the action. All the action needs to be documented. And we recommend that it be done on the week of the 25th. Because, and of course that is the second week of I-STEP. Then the week of May 2nd, really that's a huge week. That's a big week for exhibition. In that week, students should finalize their blogs, should finish their blogs, and in their blogs they should have their action, a picture of their action. They should complete their visual at this point. They should have their action documented on their visual and on their blog. And they should really start planning their presentations at this point. And finally, the week of May 9th, this is the week where it's due. It's due Friday, May 13th. And in that week, students will put the finishing touches on their practice and practice their presentation until they feel really comfortable. And everything should be done on May 13th. That's a busy week also because on May 10th is field day. May 11th we go to Eastwood to meet the counselors and explore Eastwood. So there's a lot of days that would be missed here during this week. Students are going to present to the class on Monday the 16th, and then they're going to present to the community on the same day as our honors day, or 5th grade promotion. They're going to present to the community on Thursday the 19th in the morning, right before 5th grade promotion. So this project is big. There's a lot of pieces to it. So I wanted to make this video so you guys would get a feel for kind of the magnitude of the project. I don't want to stress anybody out. That's why I made the video now, so that students could work with you a little bit. For example, for a reading log, the 20 minutes a night, they can spend those 20 minutes on the project, reading about their issue, taking lots of notes. So I hope this was very helpful. Just want to take a minute and just kind of show you the blog, Sarah's blog, and I'm going to copy the link and attach it so you can look at it from home as well. Excuse me. So she started with an introduction. Did you know that right here in Indianapolis, Indiana, 15.7% of people are hungry? That's a great hook. Starts with an engaging question. That is about 346,000 kids. Also, according to mapthemeal.com, all that according to that shows that she did the research. In Marion County, 19.2% of people are hungry or in poverty. And notice she doesn't get to the causes yet. The second paragraph is going to be about the causes. The third paragraph is going to be about the effects. Excuse me. One thing that I really am going to be focusing on with the students is the transitions from one paragraph to the next. Here she goes. Now, do you want to know what causes this? And then the next paragraph. There are many causes of hunger, specifically in children. Really great transitions. And for example, another thing that I want to talk to you about is here she embeds her primary source in her writing. So here she says, according to Jim Bradford, former food service director at Shepherd Community, somebody she interviewed, most people live from paycheck to paycheck. So she's using her primary source, and she's embedding her interview into her research. So when kids do their interview, I recommend recording it so that they don't forget what answers they got from their primary source. As you scroll down, you see the action document that she volunteered at the soup kitchen. Also, another thing that she did, she made an RSA animate video. Great video, all about hunger. And it was retweeted a lot on social media by organizations like School on Wheels and others.
Did you know right here in Indiana, 15.7%?
If you want to watch the whole video, you'll get the link. So you get the idea. Here's a student from 2 years ago, Eli. He did a great piece on teen steroid use. Really organized well. 23 comments. That's fantastic. One of them being Don Hooten, the person who created the Hooten Foundation, all about teen steroid use. It's pretty neat that the person who created a foundation, the only foundation on teen steroid use, commented on his blog and posted Eli's video on their YouTube feed. So there's so many things you could do to take action. Hope you are feeling excited and not super overwhelmed. Thank you for hanging in there for this long video. I know it's very long, but I really hope it was helpful. Please email me with any questions that you might have, and thank you so much.